Hello. How are you? I'm good. It was a crazy night last night. Well, it was all Ashley's fault. Her and her talk of the flappy things or whatever it was. First of all, before we get too far, I am going to be away the next 2 nights, so I'll be returning on Friday because I have to work at the theater. So I just want to put that out there in the event that someone wants to help you. We've got you know the entire hour to talk about it and to think about it. So, but yeah, no, Wednesday and Thursday. I know. I was noticing that as well. And before, what happened? What happened to everybody last night? What happened to our West Coast people last night? They disappeared in the after party. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, so you're gonna do roll call. Is where we were. That's Heidi. That's our friend Heidi. Don't the one with Fran, Nan. Yeah, I know Nan. Penelope's Despain. It's a friend of mine. Yeah. Nope. Go ahead. Go ahead and announce. I'm thinking it's something to do with bingo, maybe. Enough is enough. So Ashley says, yay for bingo, first of all. And she says the composition should be left up to you. Or, or we could have a bingo decorating contest and we could have a judge the final results and we will give a prize to the first place winner. I will provide the prize. It'll either be stamps or postcards, one of the two. And I'll find someone that is willing to judge that is not affiliated with the art throwdown. Oh, that's true. That's a given. No sweater pets. A real live person. That's correct. I am making a something. I am making one of my pamphlet booklets, and then I'm going to cover it. But this is special because this has a interchangeable cover. So when I use all the pages, I'll be able to take these in and out. So I'll be able to use the cover for over and over and over again, kind of like a passport cover kind of thing. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. It's one of those things where this came up on the subway today. I had a booklet that I was going to use, but I didn't because it's for work, and I didn't want to waste one of my good moleskins for work related stuff because that's kind of like uh, they should either provide me a notebook or I should, yeah, or I should, exactly, or I should do something myself that I can throw away and use scraps of paper and stuff. So what I've done is I've taken these little frozen uh, pamphlets that we have that I use for waste paper. I folded them in half. I scored them so I'll be able to tear these out to give to someone or to use as I make notes off of them. I did the pamphlet stitch this together, and then what I'm doing now is I'm making the cover. But that's how this came about. I was on the subway into the city to go to training today, and I was like, I want to do something, but I don't want to spend my money on something that should be given to me. So, yeah, exactly. And I needed a project. So there you go. Well, I'm very similar in that my brain wanders when I'm not actively engaged in something. So that's where some of these things come through. And so this is the prototype. So I'm hoping, just like last night, I did the prototype last night and it turned out to be the real thing. So sometimes it works that way. I know how it should work in my mind. Now, whether it works that way or not, we'll see. But yeah. Stay, she said. Stay. I would love to hear what everyone else is doing. Zoe has joined. Welcome, Zoe. Anna, I will just make notes for these. These are things just to scribble on, and which is why I don't want to use a good notebook. So that's why I'm using the scratch paper. And so that's so I'll just be making notes and notes to self, make lists because you know me and my lists. So yeah, I can't turn a good list away. Well, I mean, like today, I had so many errands in the city to do because I was going to do training and I couldn't get to the theater before 5. And, so I made a list of all the things I needed to do to make sure, because once everything starts tomorrow, I won't be able to do any of these things because I'll be in the city during the day. And by the time I leave, everything will be closed. So, so that's why I had a list. So right now I'm just doing the cover boards, and I'm just using products that you could use because you have these at home. And I've demonstrated all this stuff already. So there's nothing new here. So you can, follow along and then just recreate this on your own. The only thing that's different is that I put this little spine in, this little orange piece here. That's just a piece of cardstock that I pierced with a needle and did some thread because that's what I'm going to float. That is what's going to keep the booklet in place, is this string. Okay, so I will spend more time in getting this in, but that's the idea. So that's going to be like that. And then all I have to do is just keep on making these little inserts. I guess is what I'm calling them. These are pamphlet stitch inserts. Remember, where you start is where you end. So that's where that is going to be. And then this is just this piece of paper. Let me see if I can find one. So what I did was I just took these little inserts, folded them in half, and then just cut the foredge to the size that I wanted. And that's so I have a little 4 by 5.5 inch notebook, and I have plenty of these, so I can make inserts until the cows come home. Yeehaw! And because it's me, you know that it's going to be orange. As I should, absolutely. Rhonda's here. Welcome. No, is that Rhonda or is that Janet? That's Janet. Janet's here. Hey, Janet. So yeah, so that's what this is. Now all I have to do is cut the surround and then mount these forward. No, Patty, I'm just going to write on the white side. So yeah, so that's why that's what that is like that, and that's why I can just use a whole bunch of these, and so it makes it really easy to use. That's what I'm talking about. And the other thing I like about that particular cutter is that you can start in the middle of a cut because it's a punch and then move kind of blade. So, and that is very, very helpful when you are trying to cut um, uh, little inserts and pieces out of a bigger piece. So, yeah, Nan, I love this grid ruler. Um, I may have one in its package. So this is the product here. It's Westcott beveled ruler. This is the 12 inch. It comes in 18 inch as well. And this is divided in eighths. So I think they may have halves and sixteenths as well. But once you get to 16th, that's tiny, tiny, tiny. So yeah, I love these things, and I have bunches of them so that I will always have them at within arm's reach. That's dangerous. You thinking? Oh, that's cool. As long as there's no clowns. That works for me. I will just say that I had difficulty sleeping last night because I had clown dreams. Yep. Yeah, and I tried to follow the unicorns and count the unicorns and all that kind of stuff, and it did not work. And it's all Ewan's fault. Never mind. Yeah. You don't, they can hear you. You don't have to whisper. That was the Mennonite envelope episode. Remember? Fold. Yep. Well, but remember that's when we realized we had a Mennonite family member. Remember? I want to say it was Janet, right? Right. But it was something like that. Leave it to Frank. Leave it to Frank. So yes, it was Janet. I think that's called replays or reruns. And I am making a passport holder. That's what I'm calling this. Yep. As long as we're not cooking with bacon. He's still a baby. He doesn't grow tusk. He's a different kind of breed of pig. No, you've been watching Lord of the Flies too much. Have you read the book? What does that have to do with the cost of tea in China? You sneaky, sneaky. Patty says she needs to post some pictures of the pigs her cousin in Alabama hunts. They're ugly, hairy things. That's correct. And those are the ones with tusks. He's not that type of piggy. Well, he's missing his family right now, especially when people start talking about bacon and stuff. He has not. Yes. Yeah. No, you don't have to do that. I think he wants to call. I think he wants to be the caller. Well, I think the way it was going to be was we'll have all the words in a like a hat, and he'll pick out the words and he'll call out the words as we go along. And then people can put their little markers or notate some way. Um, Frank, don't encourage her. Um, so Frank says, by the way, he thinks you're right about the tusks. Frank says farm raised pigs get detusked. That's what Frank says. And Frank's smart. Either that or he's looking up on the computer as we're talking. About what? So Frank has spoken. Cheryl, his wife, is a farmer's daughter, so he knows. And he's seen it. Not before next week. I think they probably did that on purpose. Frugal. You're frugal. You're not cheap. Which one? The coral reefs? The blue ones? Seashells. Yeah, it's Japanese. It's a cherry blossom. Sakura. So yeah, when I make projects for myself, I use the good stuff. I'm sorry it doesn't work that way. So So yes, if you get the postcard forever stamps, they are forever stamps. So they are good for first class. I'm sorry, for card postage card rate at the time that you use it. Yeah, Janet, it is so funny that you say that. That I don't use those stamps unless people request them or they don't care. I will not use. I'll use regular postage stamps to get 35 cents for people I care about and for people that are stamp collectors. Yeah, I'm the same way with you. It's just that I feel like I'm cheating someone if I use those those forever postcard stamps. Not even 19. I think it's like 17 or 18. Yeah. So Patty, I think that's the thing. I think he does have those ulterior motives because order a you can't order through USPS and have them delivered to a post office that's not your address. So you could either tell him that you want him to order specific stamps for you and he would order them with his order for his post office. But you can't order specific stamps to be sent to a post office specifically. So I think he does have ulterior motives. Well, they each post office has to buy its own collection of stamps. So that's why they may not have stamps that you want because they don't see a need in getting them. So you would actually have to. Right. So so they have to order them themselves. So whoever is in charge of the stamp orders at the post office is the one that decides who what's going to get purchased. Now, USPS does send some stamps automatically when they were released, depending upon what the stamp is, because they think there's going to be a high demand for that particular stamp. But usually they have to be ordered by the post office themselves. Hey, not anymore. You can't. No, they just did away with that within the last month. Yeah, yeah. It was fine when it was okay when people were doing it a whole bunch, but when the pandemic hit, the custom stamps went down by almost 50 to 60%. So it went from something like a 4.5 billion, $1 million or $1 billion, I think $1 million industry to like a $2 million industry. So and now because of the problems that the post office is having, they want people to be required to buy their stamps to generate revenue. Um, Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of ways. I mean, I have, I think the modern 10-cent stamp is the pears, I think, the red pears, I think. Uh, well, you just beat me to the punch. I have a coil of like 3,000 of them. So anybody that follows, say, well, because, here's the thing: it's because I deal with stamps, and because I have brides that need 10-cent stamps. I buy them in bulk like that, and then I can resell them. So all the people that participate, and I do that for the 1, 3, 5, and 10 cents. So it's the lemons, it's the pears, it's the apple, the strawberries, and the grapes. Um, that anyone that is on the ATD, I will sell those to you, the modern versions of those at price at face value. So if you want 110-cent stamps, let me know, and I will be willing to sell those to you. There are no current 25-cent stamps. So, yeah, so you could go to third-party vendors and look for 25-cent stamps and buy, whatever something that strikes your fancy. Yeah. So yes, Jenny, you are correct. You can buy 10 and 5-cent stamps by the sheet on USPS, and they're exact same ones as the ones I have in coils. But if you don't want to do that, or if you want to buy 100 of them, just let me know and I'll sell them to you. Nan brides need 10-cent stamps and all these off value stamps so they could do a stamp collage that's meaningful to them for their wedding. So, for example, if someone wants to do a statehood stamp of the groom and statehood stamp of the bride, and then they'll need some other makeup postage to get to the, the price of, let's say, 70 cents. So that's why they need these off value stamps. Hey Joe, welcome. Joe's here. Joe is a coworker at the St. James Theater. He's with the security team there. Welcome. Jim just finished another coloring page. Joe, I'm down here, by the way. Those are my hands you're watching. Yeah. Okay, so here is my passport holder. And then what I will do is to take this, and if I'm lucky, I can fit this in without tearing it apart. I don't think that has been decided yet when bingo actually will be. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we don't have the bingo cards yet, so it can be this Wednesday. Oh boy, we got people getting antsy on here. They're getting attitude. Um, so Ashley's saying we need to hash out the bingo procedure, okay? Uh, and Phil says what? Professional grandson is not a job. Um, um, Janet, you can buy YooHoo at Michael's, but both Ashley and I have purchased it off of Amazon. You can buy it in packages of 2, 6, or 12. And we get the 1.4 ounce stick, which is a larger, fatter stick, which tends to go a lot further. Yeah, right. Okay, so here's my little passport holder. Yes. And these are the perforations on the side here, so I can tear out the sheets if I need to. Heidi, this is the answer. I have a Carl rotary trimmer that has a perforation blade on it. So that's how I do the perforations. So that's what I use. Well, well, us paper cutters have tools for everything. Everything. So what is everybody? So Jim finished his page. Was that the elephant page, Jim, that you finished? Well, Patty, you could do that. You can get those edgers from Fiskars to get that stamp perforator. So that may be an option that's relatively inexpensive if you want to make your own. Oh, the bird's on the cover. Oh, cool. And I think it's the after sessions on studio session 1. I think are the links. No, I'll be back in just a second. Uh, Heidi finished her postcard and said it's going to go out in the mail tomorrow. Yeah. So this is the one that I'm referring to. This is Fiskars Paper Edgers. They have one that's called Stamp, and this will mimic the stamp perforations. So, and Ashley is doing some volunteer work on the PC. She's not crafting, but she's going to write a few postcards before going to sleep. Yeah, I'm still hoarding mine. Unfortunately, a lot of mine don't do well in the mail that I make for the throwdown. So, yeah, so I tend to end up keeping them once I post them on Instagram.